What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Building Code. Zach Witovich here.
Charley Burtwhistle here.
Buddy, it's good to see you.
It is good to see you.
It's always a good day to catch up with Charley and see what's new in your world.
Well, this has actually been a week where we've had a couple meetings with each other, which I typically don't like.
A little peek behind the curtain. If we run into each other in the workplace, it's about to go down.
Yeah, absolutely, because we have a lot to catch up on, a lot to talk about, but if we're not recording...
I want to make fun of your logo and your hat matching. Like, what are you doing?
You're wearing the pole of the matches.
I'm not wearing the hat, though.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. Well, Zach, we're back in the studio. We have a fantastic setup behind us, so super shout out
set.
To John, our producer.
Check it out on YouTube.
He's been working out, so look at that on YouTube. But otherwise, it's a pretty typical day for us. It's a beautiful Friday, and we have some very exciting guests lined up for today. So, Zach, who do we got up first?
That's right. Well, first off, we have a live guest today. Dave Carpentier here. He is the CEO of Charley, who's one of our new insurance partners here at Buildertrend. Welcome to the Building Code.
Thanks for having us, or having me, I guess.
That's right.
I've heard him the best live guest of 23 so far.
Technically true.
Technically true, yeah.
Technically true. I don't know. We were talking before if Dan Houghton is going to, but...
That was December. It was
oh, you're right. It was right around the... Yep, you're right.
Calendar year.
Okay.
We're going for it.
Not going to compete with your CEO.
We only have CEOs on the pod in person. That's how it works.
Apparently the last two. But yeah, so David has been working super, super closely with our good friend Michael Vandervoort over in Corp Dev.
Shout out Vandy.
And they're getting ready to launch a very exciting new product. So we have them on the podcast today to talk a little bit about that. But before we get into kind of the meat and potatoes of it, for our listeners, could you tell maybe just a little bit about yourself and Charley as a company?
Myself, grew up in Minnesota. Ex-jock, so kind of pick a crummy town across the United States, and I was probably been in an Applebee's and/or a hockey rink nearby.
Wow.
Best Applebee's in America. Name it. What town?
Ooh, St. Charles, Missouri.
Oh my gosh.
Right by the casino.
Oh, good pick.
Yeah.
It's all about location.
This episode of the Building Code sponsored by Applebee's.
And cease and desist letter. Anyway, we interrupted you.
So grew up small town Minnesota, blue collar family. Parents, my mom's side, to the Buildertrend kind of folks.
Yeah,
was a local construction family. My dad, grandfather's business was a farm. We grew up in a big town of Faribault, Minnesota, 20,000 people. Great place to grow up. A lot of my family's still there. Did the hockey thing for a bit. That brought me to school out east. And then after hockey, what do you do when you're a jock that can no longer be a jock? Is you find
hit the insurance,
prepackaged financial product to go swing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am fired up. Let's go.
Exactly. It's okay. You're an athlete. You can be trained. Okay, here's the script. Go get them, Tiger. Ended up in insurance because I didn't have kind of the pedigree for the big banks, and it was interesting. I loved it. The worst part about being in insurance is telling people you're in insurance. It's a wildly dynamic industry after that. And then moved down to Austin, Texas, is starting in 2019. And that's where we've been building ever since.
So tell us a little bit about Charley then. I mean, kind of unique that I've never talked to an owner of an insurance company. So like, how did you grow an insurance business out of just being a part of a different insurance company originally, I imagine? Yeah.
So I think one of there's a lot of cool things about Charley, but one thing about the way we built the team was we've all done it before. Like we've all came from presumed successful careers in insurance. So that really gave us the opportunity to kind of, check the egos at the door. We all kind of have our vanity, check marks on LinkedIn. Nobody really has to prove to us that we're good or we know what we're doing. So that really gave us, the ability, the patience, the kahunas to actually build what needed to be built versus what is like safe. And it really allowed us to kind of challenge, I wouldn't say traditional thought. We have a policy. We do not use the word disruption. There's a danger in that, partly because there's a lot of things and there's brilliant people in the insurance industry. It's just a matter of evolving it to the modern expectations of today's, buyers, today's policyholders, today's businesses. So fundamentally we're trying to build an entire new operating model. And we have a thesis that over 80% of all insurance policies are going to be purchased through somebody like a Buildertrend. The reason being, and I can go into that deeper, I don't want to nerd out too much, but
hey, look who you're talking to here.
This is
They
the,
don't want to,
the
you're in
place to
trouble.
nerd out.
the agent, the broker's never going away. It's about repurposing that value proposition where there's more data, cleaner data, better user experience, and ultimately insurance, all the mumbo jumbo that people kind of try to scare you with. It's really a function of just putting a better product out there at a better price with a better experience. And when you can find those 1 + 1 = 3 relationships like Buildertrend, where there's a lot of intimacy with an end user, right? And a ton of information about their risks and the actual costs versus the conceptual costs. It creates a pretty powerful opportunity. And I think we're chipping away at that one by one.
And I feel like just hearing you talk, it's starting to make sense to me how Charley and Buildertrend came together, because I think the vision that you're speaking to is something that Buildertrend also shares, where
Correct.
there is a better way to do things.
Mm-hmm.
You talk construction, you talk insurance, you're talking about two very, very old industries
Mm-hmm.
where things have worked fine for a really long time.
Even
they're-
well.
Yeah, even well.
They've
some
made
might
their
say.
money.
Yeah, so I love that you said we don't use the word disruption,
Yeah.
because it doesn't need disruption.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's broken, but things can be done much better and easier, and there's a better way to do it. And I think that scares a lot of people or pisses a lot of people off. It's like, no, this has to be done that way because that's the way I did it. My dad did it. So I could see how beautiful a relationship Charley and Buildertrend is. I would love if you could talk a little bit more about how that came to be. From maybe when you first heard of Buildertrend to you in this seat on the Buildertrend podcast right now.
The short, where do I want to go with this? Well, Vandy was looking for folks like us. I know he looked at a couple of our competitors. And literally what we were building for, Buildertrend is one of the first out there doing it. I think there's folks that are kind of doing something similar to what we're doing, but not seeing the success partly because they're building for what's available today versus what's going to be available tomorrow. And they kind of want to see it all now, right? The reality is you can't replace the value proposition that an agent brings to the table, right? And I think people just want to do it all with tech. The reality is, like, you know, your house burns down or your project catches on fire, right? You don't want to call an 800 number. You don't want to hit a button, say help. You want a big hug and sloppy kiss from that insurance person that's going to come and, like, you know, take care of some. I almost swore there, but sort it out. Like,
Family friendly podcast.
You need that support. You need to replicate that, right?
Yeah.
And I think from a vision perspective, we aren't ignoring what is going on in the insurance industry today.
Mm-hmm.
We also understand that there's not a single person out there in the world, maybe my co-founder, but that wakes up in the morning and says, can't wait to go buy some insurance today. Today is going to be a great
Let's
day.
Right.
go.
But foundationally, it's so crucial to builders, to what they're doing. It's a required part of their jobs. How do you make it easier, make it more cost effective? You know, basically get them away from the administrative stuff, manage their costs, manage their risk, and let them go back and swing hammers and build houses.
So what sticks out to me is you don't want to disrupt. It's more of an evolution, innovation, not on the product itself, but on the relationship, the speed, the experience, which really resonates a lot with me because, you know, I'm in customer success. So
Yep.
like people think we're like, oh, we don't need people to teach you the software. And it's like, well, when it comes to the software, it's actually about the relationship with the partner and the vendor to achieve a goal. And like, we're there when you need us because you're going to need us at some point, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting too. Like, there's a couple case studies, and we definitely have notes. There's a builder in Florida that was traveling, did their entire. It's actually our first policy in Florida, which so Florida's now, like, Buildertrend can offer insurance in Florida now,
Which is exciting.
yeah.
Buy a bottle of champagne.
Yeah, and I know that was a challenge. That
pop
was a
it.
challenge. I mean, the reality is it's just more insurance risks, or it's riskier insurance in Florida for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And
It's hot.
but there was that builder that was able to build their entire project remotely because they were stuck somewhere else, including buying the insurance with the click of a button. And I think that was a big win. And
So that
then-
was your first policy in Florida
with Buildertrend, correct?
And obviously an awful situation for him, and we won't get into the details, but being stuck overseas, right? But I mean, for you guys, talk about striking gold from like a use case and like success story.
Talk
of
about
like
validation day one.
100%, yeah.
So there's that. And then there's I know there's a builders this week or late last week. It was $21,000 of savings on a builder's risk policy in Montana. And I mean, that's paying for the Buildertrend. I mean, if you builder's risk alone,
2 years of Buildertrend subscription.
Yeah, builder's risk alone, the savings that we're delivering through the Buildertrend platform equates to basically paying for your subscriptions. And I think that just from a general, when you think about it that way, it's not putting insurance on a spreadsheet, although that's important. You need to understand that it's not just one product we're trying to shove down your throat. That's like, hey, there's a best-in-breed product available. There's also all these other options should we want to go a different direction. And so we can build that selectivity, but at the same time, the goal is to be able to put that best product, best price, best experience. And there's other things like key features that we know that are important to the insurance industry, or I'm sorry, to the builders around protection. It's not like we're giving a cheaper product because we're just ripping out coverage.
Right.
Where, that's the old school insurance sales is like, I'm going to go save you 20%, but like there's no actual coverage. And so we've got some early wins on that. We'll continue to learn, we'll continue to get better. We're not going to be all things for everybody, but there's a really exciting path ahead of us on some of the things that are going to be coming. I mean, we're down the road to, we have the ability to do this. There isn't a ton of applicability to it, but I would say in less than 3 years, certainly we'll be working on it before then. You can start turning like this data and information into customer service instead of claims when it comes to insurance, right? So here's a use case that another insurance founder friend of mine is doing actually with the Mexican government, is using technology. When a weather event comes in, they can automatically push claims payments to that person's, like through ACH immediately. So let's say tornado comes through, we're on risk. The ability to actually push 25, 50% of the claim into your wallet immediately. So that builder says, okay, I can go get this stuff cleaned up tomorrow, and I don't have to finance that. Those are the things that,
because that's the time you need it, right?
that's when you need it. And so those are the things that, again, just evolving the experience that we can deliver with insurance. And we certainly have our sights on it. It's not unattainable, and it's happening faster than I think the majority of the insurance industry wants to admit. But at the same time, those crazy ideas aren't what you need to fully satisfy for the builder. That builder needs to feel like they're not making a mistake. They need to feel like we're there, like they said, to give them that big hug and sloppy kiss when shit hits the fan, right? And then at the same time, they need to feel like they're making an informed decision, but we make their lives easier. Like they don't want to spend 2 weeks filling out an application. So those are kind of like the table stakes that we're chipping away at. We would expect the majority of that to be done by the end of this year. And then we start going sort of those real exciting things that once you get that experience once, you're not going to allow it any other way down the road.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, personally, I'm getting pretty fired up just hearing you talk about this. Like
about insurance.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, if that was your goal coming in today, you succeeded that. But I'm hoping our listeners are getting pretty fired up too. So maybe just a quick plug of like, if they're listening to this and want to check out more, where's the best place for them to go? And maybe if you could get into a little bit of specifics about just like what the current offerings are right now.
Current offerings right now is stuff that we're going to win, let's call it 99 times out of 100. If you're a home builder and you're not in Houston or Harris County, and you're not building a $10 million house on a barrier island off the coast of Florida.
Pretty niche.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're not in those two areas, residential builder's risk, like 99 times out of 100, we're going to have a better product at a better price. And you're going to be able to do it in a couple clicks. And so every single builder's risk policy should be done. Do Buildertrend. And I think the fun thing to talk about is there's a lot of personal relationships in the insurance industry, and rightfully so. Is your buddy, your friend, your family relationship that is your broker today, they don't want to do your builder's risk. It's in a combination. They don't want to do your license bonds. Those are $100. They don't make any money, and they have a ton of admin on that. Have them keep the big policies that they want, retain those key relationships, and the stuff that you can do, saving, like I said, that 12, I didn't say it, but it's about 12 to 25, 27%, depending on where you are, that pays for your subscription, makes all of that admin just easier. That's the stuff that your broker doesn't actually want to do, because net they lose money from the admin requirements.
Right.
So those today, those are no-brainers for the construction community that's using Buildertrend for various features.
And I think for me, what is pretty incredible about it is if you fit the customer of this product, you have to have insurance. And so it's a no-brainer that if it's a better experience, better product, and it's through the platform in Buildertrend, they're able to access this right through the program, or we're planning on doing those things.
You can access it today
through the program.
Yeah.
So
pop the champagne again.
Yeah, exactly.
Second bottle.
The wins just keep piling up, and you owe it to yourself as a Buildertrend user to check out this offering, because this is a requirement for you to do construction.
It's not like it's brand new.
No,
we're actively I know the numbers. There's millions and millions of dollars of insurance premium that are being spent through Buildertrend today, right? Through various licensed insurance entities, through our back office as well. So you're not going to be the first person to do this. There's hundreds of builders that are actively doing all of their builder's risk through the platform today.
So I have one question. What do you tell the contractor who's like, I've known my guy for 20 years and I just really like him. Like, why should they check you guys out?
I mean, you don't have to. Honestly, let us do just the stuff your broker doesn't want to do. Start there, right? The other side of it, I don't want to go too nerd, but the majority...
Go full nerd. Send it. Full send.
Oh, boy. Almost 70% of all insurance agency owners are at retirement age without a succession plan. So for you builders that are under the age of 40, you won't have your local agent in 10 years.
That's a great stat.
Yeah, that is very, very
fired up.
And
about
that's
that
not. I don't want to say these things like you're stuck.
Yeah, right.
Same thing with our product's the best. Buy.
Yeah.
Because again, insurance is really wild.
Yep.
Insurance is in the business of trust. Like, we sell trust, but inherently insurance people aren't trusted. That's a fundamental business model issue, right? You have a lot of shady people out there trying to sling insurance, right? And so when you go and say, "Hey, our product's the best, buy it," I'm giving you one option. It's binary. Buy it or take it or leave it. That's not the emotion that we want to bring to the table. That's not the value proposition of Buildertrend. That's not what we're trying to do. And so I don't want people to think like, hey, it's all or nothing. You're going to have somebody like like a cold caller, right? Is going to hammer you on the phone every day. Like, oh my God, the insurance guy's coming.
Right.
He's like, he doesn't even live nearby. I can't go to a game with him. He can't take me golfing. I mean, gosh, if you guys want us to do your insurance, we'll pay for your golf with your buddy. How's that? Right. You can still keep that relationship.
That alone, just the number of phones are off the charts right now.
We just think we can do a better job, but also do a better job in the sense of like, it's actually what people want. Yeah. It's a modern expectation of any other industry.
Yeah.
I don't know why insurance gets off the hook.
Yeah. Well, I think just putting my mind in the mind of our listeners, I think a lot of the things that you're preaching are things that they're accustomed to, and why they're listeners of this podcast and why they're users of Buildertrend is we're all about meeting people halfway, right?
Yep.
We have 20 features in Buildertrend, right? And 3 or 4 different value adds and upgrade packages and things like that. It's like, let us take care of your in-office communication. We can get that done day one, right? Keep your financial flows in place, keep your lending in place. And then a year from now, maybe we can, after we gain that trust, we can start talking about, you can run all your financials through us. And did you know you can actually connect your accounting software to us? And so I think that's the same kind of approach you're taking. Is like, we're not trying to disrupt, right? We are trying to make the hard part of insurance easy for you. Yep. And then if more stuff comes down the road, great, but we can be valuable day 0, right, with us. So yeah, I would actually say that the audience that you're talking to here is open to that type of relationship and excited about it.
Good, because that means we're building something that people want.
Yeah, this would be a lot different podcast if I said, actually, exactly. It doesn't sound like it's going to work.
And that's the same thing too. I think there's things that we were talking about earlier today that we think presumably make sense. but we need to go talk to folks and say, hey, is this what you want? Do you care about it? Right. And so feedback. If somebody can dream up what they want with insurance, like, tell us.
Yeah.
It might not happen tomorrow, but if enough people want it and it makes sense, like, we'll build it.
Yeah.
And we have that availability.
Well, we will definitely link stuff in the show notes for people to reach out and find more about. And your partner on the Buildertrend side, Michael Vandervoort, is one of the best innovators I know. So I'm sure he'd love to sit down and talk to people and get that product feedback. So yeah, we'd definitely love to hear from everyone.
Yeah, David, thank you so much for joining us here.
That's it. We talked about insurance the whole time.
That was, it just flew by.
That was the one piece of advice I gave him before this, is like, let's not talk about insurance the whole time. Let's try to keep things fun.
But you asked me all the insurance questions.
Well, you're doing a very good job explaining it. You made it so Zach and I could understand.
I'm like, how do I get a policy with you guys?
That is a great question. You can do that.
Oh.
And then
now we're talking about saving us money, Charlie.
Like, pay for us to go golfing too, is what I heard. Yeah,
we're going right now.
We have a new Shirley employee that is dedicated to Buildertrend users. That was a pretty fantastic high school golfer.
Oh,
so yeah.
Geez, yeah, the guy I met this afternoon.
Yeah,
I bet he hits the ball a mile.
Yeah,
that guy's huge. Well, sweet. I think that about does it for us.
Cool.
This was an awesome interview. Very, very exciting stuff.
Best
Congrats on the
best live interview of 23.
You're going to be hard
That's
to
what
beat.
People say.
We may not have another one with a live interview, but you're going to be on top for a while.
Good. I can't. I'm happy for it. Thanks for having us. Yeah. I mean, we're thrilled about this. The opportunities that a motivated partner that's open to like exploring is part of the battle.
Yeah.
Right. And as it comes to like evolving the industry, particularly financial services and in our world, insurance. Mm-hmm. We are, like you said, at day zero. Buildertrend, you will see a lot of other folks purchasing insurance through something that's not their insurance agent, or that insurance agent's going to be living in a different. I guess it's not the storefront. Mm-hmm. They're going to be in the Buildertrend environment or something along those lines. So we're excited to be there early on and learning. So we're really thrilled about this partnership.
Amazing. Well, for our listeners out there, remember, always check the show notes. Thanks to Charlie.
Yep.
And as always, I'm Zach Witovich.
I'm Charlie Burtwhistle.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching the video. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for exclusive content brought to you by Buildertrend.